I'm certainly not the only one who regards hypocrisy as the pinnacle of intellectual dishonesty. Calling out an opponent's hypocrisy is often regarded as a knockdown blow, and if there's an audience around, there's a good chance it'll result in massive ovations. I've also explained that hypocrisy can be a fallacy, but let's be clear about this. It's only a fallacy when special pleading is involved. Here's the rule, but because it ruins my case, it doesn't apply to my argument. It's not a fallacy when a smoker tells someone not to smoke. No, not even if he smokes because he rejects the fact that smoking is harmful. The argument stands or falls on its own merits. The premise smoking is harmful is true whether the speaker genuinely believes it or not. Nothing in this argument relies on the speaker not smoking, so pointing out that the speaker in fact smokes 4 packs a day and is on record saying that he actually thinks smoking is good for his health is a red herring. In fact, it's an ad hominem. Even more specifically, it's a tu quoque. Tu quoque, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, means you too. And it's the fallacy of treating an argument as flawed simply because the person presenting it does not act as if he accepts it himself. Politicians use this fallacy all the time, especially during campaigns. The reasoning seems to be that the dirt A finds on B negates the dirt B finds on A. Now, don't get me wrong, dirt is dirt, and hypocrisy is hypocrisy. This could all be very relevant to the election as a whole. But the issue here is that the response, "you did it too," does not make the dirt go away. That's the fallacy. Pot: "Hey, kettle, you're black." Kettle: "You're black, therefore I'm not." Pot: And now that that example has been brought up, don't get this confused with kettle logic. That's the fallacy of arguing for a position using multiple arguments that contradict each other. The name has nothing to do with the pot calling the kettle black, but comes from a specific case where this fallacy was committed. A man borrowed a kettle from his friend and returned it in a damaged state. He then said that he didn't damage it because A, it wasn't damaged when he returned it, B, it was already damaged when he borrowed it, and C, he never borrowed it. All of these are valid responses to the accusation of having damaged the kettle, but together they prove that the man is lying at least twice. This doesn't prove that he's lying the third time as well, but it certainly doesn't help his case. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. Let's get back to tu quoque because it's woo time! When arguing against the claim that believers in the paranormal think in irrational and childish ways, Wu says, quote, "Nevertheless, it can also be argued that closed-minded skeptics who are out to debunk everything paranormal are thinking in irrational and uninformed ways because they simply refuse to consider the data that support strong paranormal phenomena cases, but instead dismiss it on a priori grounds." Unquote. Notice how this is completely irrelevant to the point being argued. Even if we grant what he's saying, and we shouldn't, it still doesn't follow that the claim he's arguing against, that believers in the paranormal are being irrational, is false or any less well supported. He continues, quote, "If they are not up to date on the evidence, then they are the ones who are acting uninformed." Unquote. So basically, if they are doing this, it follows that we are not. No, it doesn't. In my opinion, hypocrisy should be pointed out. When your opponent is being dishonest, this should be exposed. Just remember that this must be done in addition to, not instead of, addressing his points. Until next time, stay logical.